pretty awesome how the clouds just like hang on the tip up there.
It's beautiful.
Are we sure that's Bear Peak? It has to be. It's so charismatic, right?
But yeah, man, this is hunting right here. What we're doing right now.
I thought hunting was walking in the dark.
It's walking in the dark and then doing this.
I was already thinking about how we're gonna walk back to the car in the dark through this terrain.
Oh, this is nothing.
Really?
Yeah. You haven't. I feel like you'll truly be initiated as a hunter when you got your first, 5-mile trek back to the truck, bushwhacking through steep terrain. You get cliffed out a couple times, all in pitch black, with a 100-pound pack on, and that's when you know you're a hunter. We only have like a quarter mile back to the truck.
I feel like you're making this way too extreme. You don't want to just sit in our lawn chairs in the back of the truck on the side of the road and
if we just drove around and I had you sit on the Yeti in the back of the truck with a rifle in your hands.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So everyone else we've seen has been doing, you saw where that gut pile was? It's right in the middle of the road. They shot that thing when it was crossing.
But no, glassing, man, this is it. This is hunting. Do you hear that? God, there's gotta be a deer in there, Chase. Chase, let's say, so we have not seen an animal yet. The first animal do you see? What do you think the Vegas odds of it would be, bear versus deer? Like, is your mental search image a bear, or is your mental search image a deer?
As I look through the binos, my brain is looking for a deer.
So you think the probability lies with deer?
Well, I don't know if that's any indication that the probability lies with deer, but I do think it does lie with deer. But for some reason, my brain is just automatically searching for the image of the deer before the bear as I'm scanning. But I don't know why. I think we're both more invested in getting a deer than a bear.
Yeah. Although I'm $325 invested in getting a bear. That's pretty big. I'm pretty invested. See, for me, like mentally, like I have like deer spots where my mental search image is a deer. Mm-hmm. And then I feel like I have bear spots.
So you're switching around.
I just like get a feeling sometimes where I'm like, that's a bear spot. There's got to be a bear in there.
What's the difference between a deer spot and a bear spot?
I don't think it's something that can be put into words. I think you just get a feeling with certain spots. They like a lot of the same habitat, so. I feel like a bear is going to be easier for us to locate just because of
their color.
Yeah. I feel like a deer is going to be very hard to pick up on this type of landscape.
I'm sort of imagining seeing a group of them just like walking across one of these clearings. And it being pretty easy. I'm not like looking for any ears.
It's not going to be easy to see.
No, but I think I'm just not searching for the tough to spot deer. I'm like moving quickly over the terrain.
No. You got to parse it apart. You got to pick it apart.
Well, I feel like it's just a different strategy. I'm like covering more ground quickly and looking for more easily to spot deer.
But what they're going to do is they're just going to get out of their bed and they're going to start feeding around their bed,
Like around now?
Yeah. Honestly, now is a really good time, yeah. Now is about when I'd expect to start.
Coming out and feeding?
Seeing animals, yeah.
Yeah, so they're coming out into the clearing, so my strategy maybe.
But no, before they go, they won't usually go into the clearings. Especially if you hear that copter. they're not just gonna like walk out to the middle of the clearing. What they're usually gonna do is like they'll get up on their feet. They might move a couple feet, browse around, and then they will slowly kind of make their way towards the main grocery store.
But what's the main grocery store in this area?
The openings.
The opening spaces.
Yeah.
I'm also kind of looking for color, I feel like. Kind of like ruddy red, brown.
That's a pretty good color to be looking for. The problem is a lot of the rocks are that color.
They are, but they're still not quite deer. But I know they're camouflaged pretty well. But I still feel like the color of a deer will pop for me.
I'm less confident.
In the color.
As I'm looking at this, I'm just like thinking to myself how hard some of these spots are going to be. I look for shapes. Like all the plant life and the rocks and the grasses, they have like a pattern or like a cadence to them that is like somewhat similar across different areas. And then you'll see like a shape that interrupts that pattern. Mm-hmm. Like a continuous, contiguous shape. And then upon closer examination, it's usually either a boulder or a stump, but sometimes it's a deer.
Do you ever dream about doing this?
Definitely.
After we used to like go catching snakes and lizards for so long over a weekend or something when we were kids, I would always dream that they were in my bed.
Really? Yeah. And how did that make you feel?
Scared as hell.
Really?
I mean, it wasn't... I think after I woke up, it was fine, but no one wants those things in their bed, even if you're searching for them in the fields. What about movement?
Yeah, movement's a great one, but you're not always going to get that lucky. But yeah, that's one of the reasons that it's so important to have your binoculars on a tripod. Is if you are moving, you're unable to pick up the movement in something else. Whereas if you are still, you can pick up that movement very easily.
So you were saying earlier that you just find a frame, leave it still, cover as much as you can of the frame with your eyes, and then move to the next spot.
Yeah. That's like a very common beginner mistake, is thinking that the deer is just gonna pop out to you. Deer are very hard to spot, especially in the type of terrain that we're hunting. And especially not when it's not the rut, because they just don't move a lot and they are very well camouflaged. So people think that the deer are going to be easy to see, so they just shoot their binoculars all over the place, looking every which way and always changing their frame.
That's exactly what I was doing.
What you'll find is once we find a deer, at some point here, I'm going to find a deer, you're going to find a deer, and what we'll see is that I'll try and point you to where I'm looking to go find a deer, and you will know exactly where I'm pointing, and you might look for 5 or 10 minutes before you see the deer that I'm looking at, Yeah. And so keep that in mind where before you move your binoculars, move your eyes all around the frame, look at every little figure that's interesting, examine it, wait, see if it moves, all that kind of stuff, and then just move your binoculars just a little bit and repeat the process. And you kind of can grid out the landscape in that way. You cover everything, move your binoculars up a hair, cover everything, move them up, and then when you get to the top of something, then you move them just to the left and then start working your way down. You know, you grid out an entire area.
Do you think they can feel us covering all this ground, watching them?
No, I do not.
Like, because we're like presenting some pretty intense energy across this room.
Basically, you're asking if I think deer have like extrasensory perception, like ESP. And no, I do not think that deer have ESP.
Well, that they can feel them, they're being watched.
That would be ESP.
I think they have that ability, whether or not our gaze is strong enough to trigger it from this distance, I don't know. But I think most animals, even humans, don't you think you have a sense of when someone's looking at you?
I think that you have sight, hearing, touch, taste, smell. Those are your senses.
You don't think there's like senses that we have but we just don't really understand?
No.
I think there's like one more.
Just one.
And it's that. It's like somehow being able to feel you're being looked at.
Via what mechanism?
Or it's like the integration of all of those senses that like emerges into like one like uber sense, which is that.
I would just have a hard time understanding what the mechanism of action would be. You know?
Like the integration of sight, hearing, smell, taste, intuition. Well, I guess intuition is its whole other thing. Do you believe in intuition?
Yeah, I think it's like instincts.
But intuition meaning like...
It's like your genetic programming.
But intuition meaning like you know something about the world that you couldn't possibly have known because of your, like, through your sensory apparatus.
I think you need to give me an example and I need to make a call. But I do believe in like instincts. You know, like for example, like a bird knows about the world that it needs to fly south in the wintertime. You know, that would be perhaps a type of intuition, you might call it, but I would call it instincts. Did you hear that tree break?
I've been hearing that happen a lot all around it. And I wonder if it's just because a lot of these trees are burnt and dead. It's like a house creaking or something, you know?
I think a lot of times woods are just loud in general. Time to whip out the big guns. So what you do is I lock my tripod in place because there's something I want to investigate with my spotter. So this is locked in place. And then I can just take out my spotter and slide it in, and I'm be looking at the same thing.
What are you trying to investigate?
Just like a shape that I'm interested in. Sometimes like you're trying to like outweight a rock, you know? You're like, I know that you're a deer. So this is the big dog right here.
That's cool. A lot of birders use that.
It's pretty amazing what this thing could do when you really power it up. Oh God, that's a good area back up in there.
I think you could start to see things doing this for too long.
What's that?
I feel like you could start seeing things if you did this for too long.
Oh yeah, like drive yourself crazy. Yeah, that's been known to happen.
There's no deer over here, yeah.
There's deer, man.
Do you think there's deer somewhere within our range of visibility right here, and we're just not seeing them?
Yes. I mean, I know what you're looking at.
You see that?
Yeah. But I think it's burnt logs.
Yeah. It's just the way they were all situated there.
No, you're right. I totally agree. I totally agree. The problem is it would be much easier to find them if they were that dark. But they're not.
They're lighter.
They're lighter.
Well, I just thought maybe because it's on the background is that light green grass.
Yeah.
So are we past the point of being able to shoot?
Time's it. It's 7:45, right?
It's 7:34.
Yeah, so there's like 10 minutes left of legal shooting night.
God, at this hour, everything looks like a deer.
Yeah, it's too dark. All right, man. Come on back over. Start getting packed up.
Oh, we haven't bagged our limit yet.
Nope. You always want the first day to kind of make you work for it a little bit.
I know you love to work for it. You like to walk straight up the hill.
Yep.
I don't know about that. Pale Bear Mountain. Bear Peak. If that's it, I kind of see why they call it that, because it looks a little like a bear, like a silhouette.
You think so?
Like that little thing being its ear, kind of.
I think you have a little bit of an overactive imagination.
It's giving bear, but abstract bear.
God, look at how bright that moon is.
Yeah, that feels like sneaky.
But yeah, I think it's just down there. Cause look, the road goes to right there.
Okay.
Yeah, we're going the right way. It should be just down there. Yeah. No, I think it's down here, Chase. The good old trusty pickup. There's a trail up there, and just like, I like the look of like, just all this open stuff here.
So it's behind us.
Yeah, if you think about it, in this thing that we're in, you see that big ridge that we've been looking at? It goes up like all the way around here.
Yeah.
And we even like drove past it right there. Like on this side of that ridge is like this larger drainage, and on that side of the ridge is like the Clear Creek drainage.
Mm-hmm.
You see that? There's Clear Creek, and everything's headed down this way. And we're on this side of that ridge. And then there's a trail that walks on top of that ridge.
That sounds awesome. That means we could hit both sides of it, maybe.
Yeah. So there's really like two options. We could... This stuff's pretty thick over here. See how thick all this is? You can just see that it's thick.
Yeah.
But you see this stuff is pretty thin.
Yeah.
We want to like maybe get into that stuff.
Yeah.
So tomorrow, I guess what I'm saying is this is for tomorrow. I'd really love to be able to like get in there and hunt some of this stuff.
Yeah. So we go on that
this
trail.
is far. This is far. So like...
It doesn't seem that far. We just have to take that road back and then go.
So today we hiked that far.
Yeah.
They're pretty much on top of each other.
Yeah.
I'm talking about, do we want to get to this trail and then hike all the way over there?
Yeah, but it's a trail.
It's a trail of unknown quality, I would say.
Sure.
But yes, it is a trail. And then we could either drive back to this trailhead and hike that, which is impossibly far. Or we could park our trail somewhere around here. Park our truck somewhere around there. And then bushwhack up to the trail.
Oh. Tomorrow, you mean?
What's going on?
Tomorrow, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You with me?
Yeah, I'm with you. Doesn't seem that far to go back, though, does it? But then we'd have to hike a lot farther.
Yeah, so that right there would be like 4 miles, 3 miles. Or you can bushwhack an eighth of a mile.
Uphill.
And get to this trail.
And then take it around and
scoot
up
over.
there.
Yeah.
And does the trail go up to this glass point, too? Is that...
No.
No. So then we'd have to...
What we would probably do, realistically,
It's just glass from right there.
get to this point, hopefully like around the time the sun's coming up. You'd get to this point.
Yeah.
And then from there, you'd probably be the type of thing where you might sit down, glass for 30 minutes, hike the ridge, like, and I'm saying not hike this way on the trail. That just brings you into this dark timber. You'd probably go off trail at this point and stay high on the ridge tops. And you might glass from here for 30 minutes, then move to there, glass, you'd see some new stuff, glass there for 30 minutes. Then you might bounce over here, glass there for 30 minutes, and
like
spend
this
your
plan.
morning doing something like that.
I like this plan because it seems like it's not that far on foot, and we're going to be hunting all area that people aren't really accessing by the roads.
No. But the downside is, how hard is this to get up that
Tomorrow morning. It looks steep.
It's steep. But it's pretty short too.
Is that where that truck was parked?
It's basically...
Remember that black
It's basically
Dodge?
1,000 vertical feet. Because this is 4,000 feet.
That's a lot, dude.
And up there's 5,000 feet.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that is a lot.
That's going to be like a good hour at least, right?
Yeah, more than that.
You want to try this egg? I think it's hard boiled, but I'm not positive.
How did you just take this out? Did you see anything?
No. I conked out for about 20 minutes too. I laid down on a rock.
Oh, nice.
But I covered a lot of ground, I think. I was
saw
really
some.
getting into it and getting zen.
I saw at least 5 more
No!
since you left.
Bullshit.
Yeah, I saw 5, at least 5 more, probably more than that.
Bucks?
1 buck.
Another buck.
Yep. A small buck. I had to switch over to my spotting scope to see if it was legal. I don't think it was legal, but he moved before I was able to get the spotting scope on him.
Wow. So what were they doing?
They're working their way. They went down into just like the darkest, blackest hole in there.
In that ravine.
Yep.
It seems like we're seeing them in dark, kind of moist green places.
Well, that's where they're going to now.
Because it's
makes
late
sense.
morning.
Yeah, they're going to bed there for the day. They want to go get in the, dark, shady, cool, thick stuff.
Just to lay down.
Yeah. And then in the evening, we're trying to catch them coming out of the beds, heading up to the food. And in the mornings, we're catching them coming out. They're on these south slopes in the morning, at night, and in the evenings, in the mornings, and then they're walking across and they're bedding on just the north side of these ravines.
Because it's cooler on the north side. But is there as much food on the south side?
It's easier for them to escape detection. There's more food on the south side because the south side is what gets all the sunlight. And plants need sunlight, and that's what they eat.
So you didn't see that big buck again?
No, I did not. It was literally like 10 minutes before you had got there. I'm just like, and you hear about this all the time in hunting where you're looking at like these far off slopes. Like your temptation is always to look far, far away.
Yeah.
At like the farthest thing. It's just like a natural tendency. But everyone always says, and it's so true, like don't forget about the stuff that's right in front of you. And so I like repeated, like just periodically was just coming back and checking the stuff.
With your
that
eyes
meadow
or with the
right
scope?
below us.
With your eyes or with the scope?
No, I never use my eyes. I use my eyes to like get stuff out of my bag and stuff like that.
Well, I hope you don't use your binos for that.
But yeah, so you don't need to ask that question anymore. It's always going to be with my binos. So I'm returning back to just the meadow that's down below me. And just easy as that, I see this deer. The first thing I just see like a deer form, and then I turn my binoculars to its head, and it's just got a huge rack on it.
Was it moving when you saw it?
Yeah, it was walking. And I like knew I didn't need to look if it was legal. I didn't count the points, but I knew that it was a big deer that I would be psyched to have. Like even if I were being selective on this trip, that would have been a buck that I would take. It was a big buck. I don't want to say it was like a huge buck, but it was like no question about it legal, and it had multiple antler points. It wasn't just a forky. I think it was probably a 3x3 or a 4x4. And so it's just a fucking fire drill. I'm getting out my hearing protection and taking the scope cover off and putting it around in the chamber, and then I gotta range it. I gotta get my rangefinder, then I gotta find it, then I gotta range find it.
What was it at?
Then
what range?
It was at 280 yards. It was 248 yards equivalent horizontal distance.
Not bad.
And then I'll tell you what, Chase, looking at these deer today, they're so tough to pick up in the shadows.
Really?
They're so tough to pick up in the shadows. They're like the same color as the vegetation. They're so tough. And so then I'm like looking at my scope and I can't find it in my scope. Then I returned to my binoculars. I was able to like pick him up just as he was like heading down into this brushy patch. And then by the time I got back over to my rifle to shoot it, it was gone.
Damn.
Yeah.
Well, we're on the right path, it seems.
And this was just very shortly after I saw this group of does on this hillside over here. 4 does. It was 3 does and 1 fawn. And I just like watched them for a while, like you always got to be careful when you see deer. Like even though bucks and does don't associate this time of year, where you see deer, there's usually more deer.
So like it's good habitat.
Yeah, and just they're gregarious creatures still. So I just spent a lot of time looking at those does, and I was like probably watching them for like 30 minutes. I also kind of wanted to like see their patterns, like
what they're doing.
Piece together like what they're doing this time of day. And so I was on them for like 30 minutes, and that was actually when I returned to the stuff below me and saw the buck. And then you came and we talked, and you have a little bit of ADD and keep wanting to move around.
I was walking all the way up the road that we drove in on which is now I'm gonna call Bear Shit Road because there was about 40 piles of bear shit on it.
Bear shit road.
Everything around here is bear this, bear that, bear whatever.
That's true.
And I wasn't sitting. I don't know if it was because I was cold and it was such an early morning. It was dawn, but I was walking, and each new turn in the road, I kind of had a new hillside revealed to me.
Yeah.
And I was just standing with my binos and I was scanning it pretty quickly. I also was looking a fair amount with my eyes at these open hillsides just to see if I could see any movement.
Yeah.
You know, like any just ears flapping, a little hop over a rock or whatever.
Yeah.
And I just kind of picked my way up around the corner, but I didn't see anything. And you know, you're so patient and you're always using your glass and you're sitting, and now it just has me thinking how many deer did I maybe pass?
A lot.
I don't know.
I think that this landscape feature here, it's got a great mix of habitat. It's got north slopes, south slopes, it's got burned areas, it's got not burned areas, it's got good cover, I think it's got good food. I think this is just I think there's a lot of deer inside of this.
I think you're right though, like that ridge up there, which I was looking at a lot, is maybe thicker than...
That might be 8 feet tall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It could, but there is patches of grass
There's
in
patches.
There. Like see below those trees right there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I felt like I was covering a lot of ground, but I definitely was not looking as closely as you, which might be less effective, or it might just be a different strategy.
The other thing I'll say is these are small deer.
Yeah.
Like just like genetically, like they're just small deer. Like when I first picked up these does over here, like I thought it was like a fox or something at first. I did. It was so small. And then, you know, I'm starting to develop that search image. They're when they're in the sunlight, their coat has like a very like a radiance to it that is kind of easy to pick up. But when they're in the shade, they're so hard to see.
What was the saying you told me earlier?
Oh, let your glass do the walking.
Let your glass do the walking.
Yeah. So like,
ooh, chickadee.
Instead of walking over onto this hillside over here, why not just get a vantage point and watch it all day?
It is a beautiful hillside here.
It's perfect.
It's like
perfect. It's
shady,
like half burned, yeah,
with
half
the burned pines and then the green grass underneath it.
Yeah.
It's like it's picturesque, and
it's
view
perfect.
and the view down onto it too. It's like you feel like you're looking.
It's perfect. And that's where I picked up those does. They were almost the same place where that buck was. They were doing
Right
that same
you.
walk. Yeah.
So
there might be a path down there. I'm wondering if that's a travel route, because I've seen 4 deer now at 250 yards walk right in front of me.
So here's what I'm wondering.
And 2 of them were bucks.
We made a plan last night to head up this ridge over the other side to glass the other drainage over there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, part of me thinks you're onto a pattern. And if we just set up there in the evening and maybe get a little bit more situated to have a good shot, that big buck you first saw will come back along that path to go up to the feeding zone.
Ideally, yes. So I like your thinking, but the first time you go and hunt anywhere is always the best time that place is going to be. Because what we don't realize is that we spread our scent all throughout there. We made noise. We're not sure how many bucks or deer we may or may not have scared.
Yeah.
And we've intruded into their area, and there's a level of awareness that they're going to develop to that.
You think they know you're here?
It's possible. Yeah. The first time's always the best. Your first sit is always the best for a given area.
Yeah.
So, and that was our first sit, and it was good. It was a good sit. I saw 9 deer.
We could always go up over the ridge.
I saw 10 deer.
We can always go up over the ridge, give this a rest a little bit. You know, like when you're fly fishing, you let the pool sit.
That's what I'm thinking, is if we stuck to the same plan, but instead of heading straight over to Clear Creek after tomorrow.
Spend one more night here.
Spend one more night here, and that way this will have rested for a day.
Yeah.
And maybe, you know, they'll think everything's good again, you know.
Well, we're on to some animals. I know we had some contingency plans. I was like, we'll go fly fish if we don't
there's
see
no
anything.
Animals. No, there's animals. We're seeing bear sign. We saw 10 deer this morning.
10 deer and 40 bear shits.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. We know they're down in that glade down there, in that shady canyon.
I think that they're in the bottom of, you know how we've got this cut right here?
Yeah.
and we've got this cut right here.
Yeah.
I think there's groups of deer bedded all throughout these two cuts.
Okay.
And probably down into the confluence for deer that we weren't seeing.
Okay. You sit up on the ridge, I go up top of the canyon and just start barreling down. Kick them up.
It theoretically could work, but I don't like that idea.
Do you not like it because it's not sporting or because it's not going to work?
No, because it's not going to work. And I also don't like shooting at running deer.
Yeah. Well, they would run for a little bit and then they would stop.
And I've heard it's not as an effective tactic for blacktails as it is for mule deers and whitetail.
What do you call that? Driving, right?
Driving.
Yeah, I don't love the idea of it either, for some reason. It just seems more appealing to me to like shoot them when they don't know you're there.
Yeah.
Somehow. I also just love this campsite. I think it's so cool.
I love this campsite too. I don't really want to give this up. Although your tent's having a tough morning.
I know. That's my style.
It's been a tough morning for that tent.
It was like almost down the hill when I first got back here. All right.
So I say we get some breakfast, chill out.
What do you think about this ridge now that we're seeing it in daylight?
It looks better than I thought it was going to.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. It looks worse. I didn't realize that it was going to be so rocky.
It's very rocky.
I don't like that.
It's kind of scree.
What's scree?
It's like loose rocks.
Yeah, so we have about a mile of loose rock scrambling up, 2,000 feet?
2,000 vertical feet.
God damn. All right.
This is doable. And we'll just take it slow, man. Leave early, take it slow. One step at a time. We'll get up there.
We should leave soon, though. What is it, 10 or 11?
It can't be that late.
It's probably 10.
10:19. Yeah, let's have breakfast.
Oh my... Was that here? It looks old, but I don't remember seeing that.
It doesn't look old to me.
Really?
No.
Oh my gosh.
It looks pretty fresh to me.
Wait, touch it.
You touch it.
Dude.
It's pretty fresh, isn't it?
It's soft.
It's fresh.
Wait, that's
Look at those berries. The berries are perfect.
This is the manzanita berries.
Also, what's crazy is the berries are totally undigested. Look at that. That's a full berry.
Yeah.
He didn't even get any of the benefits of that berry.
Wait, but what? We just didn't see this. This couldn't have been while we've been camping here.
It seems very soft to me.
But it seems a little bit flaky. Like the bear shit
It's not weeks old, but it's also probably not like an hour old either. It's not days old. I would say it's probably about anywhere between 2 days and a week and a half old.
It's literally right between our truck and our tent next to this campfire.
Yeah.
Well,
you're like the bear shit expert, man.
There's a reason why they call it Bear Shit Road. Damn. I can't believe how much bear shit there is here. But no bears yet.
No bears. I'm surprised we haven't seen a bear.
It's very berry.
Do you feel at all, this is something that I very much feel, is like one of the good things about having done 2 hunts now and you haven't seen anything is like, do you feel like my desire to get something builds? Like I'll go in with like a certain level of desire, and after I've like had unsuccessful, like I've worked at it and I've been unsuccessful for a period of time, my level of desire for that thing gets higher and higher and higher.
Definitely.
Like I'm ready to slay a bear.
I have to say, after I saw you and you told me about the first buck and that first group of does, and then I came over here by myself and went around the corner there to blast this other drainage, I had a bounce in my step I didn't have before.
Yeah. Yeah, I do too, man. I feel like there's lots of deer in here.
I do really want that moment when I see one though when I'm glassing, because I feel like that's like the reward that really gets you going too, you know?
Oh,
it's
dude.
sort of like if you're coding.
Your heart gets so.
Have you ever done like coding in like R or something, and you're like trying to get the code to work, and it's like and then all of a sudden like you fix the mistake and it like works, and you're like, oh,
Yeah,
and it's like that. Yeah. It's like a little dopamine rush.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what it is. You're just like scanning the hillside, side, and then like you see the what do you call it? The image,
Your search image.
your search image, and then you're like, and then
Yeah.
like your brain just lights up.
Yeah. It's like ding.
Yeah, it's like such a.
You know what I was thinking about this morning? Remember how we were talking about like having a search image and then like moving your eyes?
I think we should go up this way. Go like.
No, look at how thick that is.
But come here, let's walk up the hill. It's so steep between here and there. It's a plunging ravine. Looks like some people might have done this already. Now, Steven, I think we go up this ridge.
I agree.
And then drop down under there.
I agree.
And then go up to that.
And then, yep, I agree. You're right. A little bit less than halfway to the trail. And we've climbed like 500 vertical feet, and we have about 800 left to go.
Oh, that's not bad.
A little less than halfway done with everything. We're maybe 3/10 of the way, 4/10 of the way done.
That's chill.
Yeah. And we're 50 minutes into our hike right now.
Yeah. No, we're sitting pretty.
Dude, this would be a good place to like.
Ambush.
The problem is I'm not seeing a lot of sign. I thought maybe I would see like a bunch of sign up here,
Yeah.
but I don't really see any. The only potential sign is if you look, a lot of these little things have been chewed down to the nub.
Which one?
The little manzanita looking things. Do you see how they've been kind of mown? They're like kind of chewed down to the nub.
I can't tell if that's just how they are or if they've been chewed down.
I think that's the same species as this.
As this one too.
Yeah.
Could be some chew down, but why wouldn't there be poop everywhere then?
Yeah.
There's bear poop right there.
Where?
That's what I was pointing at, not the pine cone. Right here.
Oh, yeah.
There's a little trail running through here too, it looks like.
There is. There should be. Usually in these saddles like this, there should be a trail.
It's not a big trail, but I kind of got the sense that it was like right here. You could see it better down there where our packs are.
I mean, that's where the trail should be. It should be a trail.
Yeah, it's like here. I don't know, there's a few little veins running through here, you know? Which side would you perch on? This side? I think we're at the worst place for it though, because we're like right in this saddle, facing the direction of the wind. So I wonder if we get down into this, if it'll be less.
Well, are we going to get down into it?
What?
Are we going to get down into it?
I don't know. I'm just wondering if that's an option for it to be less windy. Because I think that, you know.
Dude, so this is super cool right here because we can kind of see our unit now. We've been off siloed in our little corner over there.
Yeah. Oh, so this is the Clear Creek drainage.
Yeah, this is it.
Wow.
All the map work, all of it is coming together because this That is Preston Peak right there.
Yeah.
So this is, you see how Clear Creek, it comes from that side?
Yeah.
And then it comes from that side. And then this big, huge cut that comes down like this, and it goes across like that.
Yeah.
And goes out that way.
That's all Clear Creek.
That's Clear Creek, and that runs into the Klamath.
Yeah.
This is one of the major drainages that runs into the Klamath.
So this is what I was just going to suggest. What if we walked out to that tip and hunted back this way, back that way?
You want to walk out to that tip.
And hunt this back to the left and back to the right.
So we're glassing here and glassing there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that could be good. Do we want to walk down there real quick and just see what it looks like?
Yeah, not all the way, but maybe just right here. Oof, windy. At least we know they won't be smelling us. What is that?
It's a hawk.
Grunginess, I think. You see the white wingtips? He's hunting too.
So like, I don't know how much more we'd be able to. Do you mind if we?
No, of course not. But you get what I'm saying by going out on the track too.
Totally,
Yeah.
totally.
No. This saddle could be an ambush spot too,
Yeah,
right?
I like your idea. Let's do your idea.
Getting out over to that tip?
Yep. I don't know. We can either decide this side of the saddle or that side of the saddle, whichever we prefer.
Well, that side of the saddle will allow us to hunt more back,
Look back into this side.
but this side of the saddle will make it so we're less visible and we have to go not quite as far. What do you think?
I don't know. We'll get down there and decide. Right now, let's go back to the and go down this way. Bring it to the left. Back to our packs.
All right. Yeah, that's pretty good.
So Chase, do you want to set the stage for us?
What, that we're on top of a mountain,
Yeah.
both of us in your tent, full moon. I have to say, I'm feeling, after the high this morning of seeing the deer, I'm feeling a little deflated by no sightings this evening.
Yeah. It's gonna happen, man.
No, I get it. Wait, where did that other piece of stone go? Did you take it?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I stole it. I thought you gave it to me.
Pirate. You called me a pirate.
There is something about hunting, and I can't explain it. I feel like you're into, like, you dabble in the metaphysical. There's something about hunting, but, like, I feel like on most of my trips, I always shoot an animal on the last day.
No, really?
It's always the last day. Whichever day is your last day to hunt is always the day you shoot an animal.
Except the trip when I was trying to meet you for the elk, but yeah.
Yeah, except that trip.
Wait, why do you think that is?
I think, like, as time goes on, you figure things out. It's like we're learning. Not only are we just like picking different hunting spots, but we're identifying patterns in the deer. And it's not as if like this hunt, if we don't see anything up at the top of this mountain, is a lost cause, because we'll have learned about the deer. We'll have learned about where they are and what they're doing. We'll know, okay, this super high stuff, the super rocky stuff, don't go there again. You know, and that'll inform our next. And so it's like an iterative process where you try things and get feedback.
Yeah.
And by that last day, you're in a better position. But the reason I say that is because there's so many times where like you just get so demoralized and so deflated and it's not working out. And like if I had given into those emotions and been like, fuck that, I'm gonna go home a day early, like I'm miserable, like I would have killed like a third of the number of animals that I have killed in my time hunting.
Yeah. No, my demoralization isn't like I'm gonna give up or
It's disappointing.
yeah. It's disappointing, and we also like put in so much effort to trek up here. But it's interesting, like when I first saw that side of the mountain, I was like, oh, maybe we made a mistake. It's like pretty barren over here. But then once we settled in and grounded and really like felt it out, we found that little pond. There was more green growth and stuff. But when we first got up here and I saw that and I was like, oh, this was a mistake. We left fish to find fish. But we're comfortable in the tent now. It's windy as hell, but we found this little cut.
I can't believe we just ate that whole thing of salami.
Well, we had some for lunch. I'm glad we're conserving the water, because I'm not trying to drink out of that mud hole.
Jace, what was your experience hiking in today? Like, what did you think of that hike?
I thought it was mostly fine until we came down from the first peak to where we are now. And moving down through the rocks just fucked my feet up.
You really didn't like that, huh?
I didn't like that because my knees got tired and my toes kept jamming in the front of my boots.
You got to tie your boots tighter.
But they are tight. I don't know. I don't know what it is. Maybe I just have delicate toes or something. Going up was not that hard for me. But I will say by the last bit of once we got to the trail, that last half mile or mile or so, I don't know if it was just because I was a little bit tired or if it was steep or what, but I was definitely...
Dude, that was so hard for me.
I was definitely...
But I was like,
it.
I will be dead before... Like, I'm just not going to ask Chase to stop. I'm not going to ask him to stop.
I was pushing us a little bit too because I wanted to get here.
I wanted you to take a break on your own so badly. But I was like, I'm not going to say anything.
No, I wanted to get up here because I knew it was getting late and I wanted to get glassing. And I didn't want this whole hike to be for naught.
Yeah.
So I was pushing us a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, I thought we had plenty of time this evening.
Yeah.
It was a hard hiking. So we had heavy packs. We had camp on our back. We gained about 1,800 feet in about 1.5 miles, which is pretty steep. That's a relatively small distance for that amount of elevation gain.
You know, we kind of went straight up. I tried to guide us doing some natural switchbacks, but we just went right up the face. We got to be real careful. The rolled ankle is a worst case scenario, and it's so easy. I mean, I like coming out here alone sometimes, but imagine if you were alone, and you really come out here alone a lot. Imagine if you were out here.
That's my biggest
and
risk.
you broke your ankle. You
PLB.
You would press the button.
Yeah, I'd have to. You'd die. If I were up here alone in the Siskiyou wilderness,
we haven't seen anyone in 2 days.
Let's say I was scouting here, and I was in this exact situation, and I walk out of my tent tomorrow and take 2 steps, and I'm going back alone, and I have a compound fracture of my tibia and fibula. I would have either 2 options. I would pull the PLB or die.
What's the PLB again? Like, what does that mean?
Locator
exactly?
beacon.
So it's on your iPhone.
No, it's a
separate device.
I pay an annual fee for it. I mean, a monthly fee for it.
How much?
You have to buy service to a satellite.
How much is the fee?
It's like $12 a month.
That's not bad. But then if you press the button, they send a helicopter.
A helicopter's coming. Yeah, and it has your geospatial data, and it
And then that costs like $30K probably.
it costs about 70 grand.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Where do you think that helicopter would have come from?
wherever the nearest.
The nearest
Yeah.
search and rescue is. Damn. Well,
But it would be like so you
that
don't
would
want to
make-
pull it because it's 70 grand.
Of course.
But if you would lose your life, it's like,
but that would make me feel a lot safer having it.
yeah, that's why I care.
Okay, so now you're prostrate on the side of a mountain with what you think is a broken ankle, maybe sprained.
Mm-hmm.
You're this far from the car.
I would try to get back.
You would try before pushing the button.
Yeah, obviously.
What would you do?
Like I would fight pretty hard.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the situation where it's like if it's so bad that like it's the same as saying I'll give you, let's say you twist your ankle, like and you're just like out and about. I'd be like, I'll give you $70,000 to go over there. How hard would you try for that?
To get to the car?
Yeah, just like.
But it's not quite the same because losing 70K is different than getting 70K.
No, not really. It's 70K. It's 70K.
It feels different to me. I feel like I would try harder to get the 70K than to lose the 70K.
See, I would try harder not to lose the 70K.
Really?
Yeah, I would.
I would try harder to get it because if I lost the 70K,
That would be devastating
it would
financially.
it would be devastating financially. But like,
And like
I wouldn't.
emotionally, and it would be horrible. It would be horrible to lose $70,000.
Not as horrible as it would be amazing to have $70,000. I feel like I would be less. I would be because my family would maybe help me out losing $70,000.
But you wouldn't share it if you got
Exactly. I mean, I would share it. People would get Christmas gifts this year for the first time in a long time. But like, I would. I don't know. I guess maybe I just am a grad student, so I don't make that much money either. So 70,000 is like, you know, it just feels like a lot of money to me.
Yeah.
Well, if you hurt yourself and we have to press the button, I ain't paying. No, I'm kidding.
No, you weren't paying for it.
No, I know. I'm kidding. I'll split it with you.
But if you hurt yourself and we pulled it, I would probably eat 35 of it, but I would ask you to eat the other 35.
Yeah, that's fair. Wow. Okay, let's think about more joyous, exciting things. What do you want to do tomorrow morning? What are you thinking? I like that last night we developed a plan and it took a kind of long time to develop it, and we had an A, a B, a C, and kind of went with D. Like, you know, it's like it's a process of figuring out where to go, and I appreciate that about hunting.
I mean, I kind of, to be honest, I would consider going right back to where we just were.
Really?
Yeah.
Even though we didn't see anything tonight.
Yeah.
It's a little hard for me to stomach going to the same spot we didn't see anything at, but
Yeah,
it
I
was
can see how
good.
that would be hard.
I mean, it looked good.
I mean, there's some other stuff that we could try. I mean, you know what we could do? We could do something real similar to what we did this morning, which would be like just walk this trail
Yeah.
and just peek over. And if we see something we really like,
Which
set
way?
up.
Walk west or east on it?
continue walking the way that we were walking on it.
So up.
Yeah.
Yeah. How far is it to that really nice spot that you dropped the pin on the other? Yeah, that X, the pink X.
So it's further from here to there than it is from here to the truck.
Yeah, but it's on a trail and we're not going up or down. It's flat mostly.
That's true.
To me, that's like a 30-minute walk.
Okay.
Maybe more, an hour.
Okay. Let's stop and think here for a bit. If we were to do that, what's our water situation? Because then we
We're
would
going
have
farther.
a monster hike from there back to the truck. And we'll need water to get from here to that spot. We don't have enough water to do
I
that.
think you're right. If we're subject to that constraint, then we can't really go anywhere.
I think of everything in terms of like margin for error. And you got to be careful of situations where you put yourself a little margin for error. And
Yeah.
especially when you have multiple factors that simultaneously have a little margin for error, then you start getting into situations where things could really go wrong.
I just always get so lucky.
That's just, you know what I mean? It's just how I like to think about it.
Yeah, I get it.
But I think that this is the only thing really now where we don't have a lot of margin for error.
Okay, another plan. I think you're going to scoff at it, but I'm throwing it out there just to see what sticks on the wall. We walk the trail like you were suggesting and hunt as we walk it, but we walk back on the trail and don't do the 1 mile steep off-road to get back to the car, but we take the trail all the way back and hunt along as we walk along the trail. It's just too far is what I think you're going to tell me, but I'm not sure. Oh, Blue Lake. Where's that?
That's Bear
Oh,
Lake.
Bear Lake. Is that nearby?
So that is about 2 miles down the trail.
To Bear Lake.
Yeah.
That's not bad. We can easily get there and then pump water.
And then get more water.
Yeah.
I feel like you really like this trail idea.
It's just so much like more pleasurable to walk on a trail than over like a granite rock field. The rocks are like they're not big enough to hop on and they're not small enough to step on. They're like the worst size rock. The devil made that rock pile.
Yeah. It was the terrain
Yeah.
that made the hiking so
It was
difficult.
evil.
It was evil terrain.
And yet we saw the most deer sign in that terrain.
Yeah.
Like we walk the ridge to Bear Lake in the morning, hunting.
Get water.
Then like kind of chill during midday, and then late afternoon into evening walk back on the road to camp.
Well, during midday, we'd be burning boot leather all day.
Yeah.
Would be hiking all day.
We would hike all day, but then we would be walking the trail back to the car around dusk.
Yeah.
The road, I mean.
So this is like a margin for error thing. There needs to be
Water in Bear Lake.
water in Bear Lake. There must be. There must be. It's
Yeah. What does it look like on the map?
it looks like there's water in there.
And it just rained.
Here's another concern is look at the terrain around Bear Lake.
Getting down into Bear Lake.
Can we get down?
But is there a trail going down into?
It does appear that there is.
Oh, okay. How far off the main trail is it?
It's quarter of a mile. But
Steep,
800 vertical feet.
but we'll have water.
I just hope that we can get down.
Okay, regardless of the water.
I like this idea.
Okay, I was just gonna ask you that.
I like this idea. We probably have enough water. If we went over to Bear Lake and we couldn't get water, we would have to bushwhack down to the road and would be really, really thirsty. But we'd probably live.
God, what is that bushwhack like?
It could be horrible.
Yeah.
Could be horrible. They're also, I should say, could be a good hunting spot around those Bear Lakes.
Yeah.
Could be a good hunting spot. So I like that plan. You know what? I like that plan.
Okay, cool. Do you want to hunt here at sunrise and then
No, I
go?
want to try and get to Bear Lake at dawn.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm gonna try and get to Bear Lake at dawn.
How long a walk that is that, you think?
It's about
Seems far.
2 miles on trail.
So what, like an hour and a half?
Yeah,
Damn, I'm gonna get there by sunrise.
yeah.
Alright. We're gonna have to roll out pretty early.
I actually really like this, like from a deer perspective. I really like this, like just this feature. It's just like a feature.
Which one?
Like the Bear Lakes. Like, look, this is burned. This is cover. It looks like there's good vegetation in here. You've got water. You've got
there's a few
2
lakes.
There's just like a lot of cool.
Yeah.
There's like a lot of edge habitat there,
Yeah.
if you will. You know what I mean?
I like the look of it too.
It could be a good deer spot or a bear spot. I mean, presumably a bear's been there before.
Everything here is called bear.
Let's hope there's not a toxic algae bloom in Bear Lake.
I doubt it.
I doubt it. Do you think the consequences of that would be high?
Well, that family died. Nose goes, who has to drink it first? I think one of us should do it first so that if it's toxic, only one of us dies.
And we do that by nose goes.
We can come up with some other strategy for picking as long as it doesn't involve like arm wrestling or something.
Just fight to the death.
Well, what's the point? Then that's how we would have used to do it though. We would be like literally like whoever can like
Assert their dominance.
their physical dominance. That's how the Bucks would do it.
That's how the Bucks would do it. It kind of freaks me out a little bit.
What?
Like, I still think we should get the water out of Bear Lake, but it's a little scary.
Just because it's a lake?
No, just like toxic algae? Like, what? You
I mean,
know?
that's a new thing on the scene. I've never heard of that except this year. Maybe it has to do with the drought.
Were they in the Sierras, did you
Yeah,
say?
they're in the Sierras.
So we're not in the Sierras.
No.
So we got that going for us as far as this conversation
I'm more
goes.
concerned that we're going to get cursed because Bear Lake is sacred.
That's pretty low on my list of concerns. Very
Okay,
low.
well, you'll drink it first because I'm worried that it's sacred, and I'll drink it first because you're worried that it's toxic, which means we'll just drink it at the same time.
What if we get there and all the fish are belly up on the surface?
Then we ain't drinking it.
Do you think there would probably be some high mountain trout in those lakes, right? If they're deep.
The what?
They look like they're kind of like crater lakes. Like, they look pretty deep.
I
There'd
don't know.
probably be trout in there, right?
Probably, yeah. Unless they don't stock it at all. I don't think it'd be like naturally occurring trout. But maybe.
You don't think there'd be naturally occurring trout?
I think they would have probably had to stock it at some point. Depends how big it is. All of the lakes
California
in the
Fish and
Sierras,
Game has a stocking program.
yeah,
right?
they probably would have stocked it. Or in the Sierras they do at least. I don't know these mountains so well.
I know Colorado does a lot of riding. They take helicopters and they drop fish out of helicopters in all the high mountain lakes.
I've seen them do that in the Sierras out of a plane.
Really?
When I was backpacking when I was a kid.
Out of a plane?
Yeah, a little plane.
How do they get your name right?
It just flew over and they opened the belly and all these little fish flew out like a fish cloud.
Was it a big lake? It must have been kind of a big lake.
Not the
Or else
biggest
they drop
lake.
them all on the
It was
shore.
like close above 10,000 feet probably. Wasn't a huge lake. Some did end up on the shore.
So it's a
Imagine just waking up in the morning, you just get out of your
Yes.
tent, you just see a cloud of fish falling from the sky. It's like you think it's the apocalypse or something.
Or you. Or what if you set your tent up like right on the lake shore, you know?
You just get nailed by fish.
You get out of your tent, you're like, what the fuck's going on? Fish flopping around.
No, we heard the plane, so we like knew it was coming. We were like, what is this? What is this plane doing? And then it just opened its belly.
That's crazy.
They were tiny. The fish was all fingerlings, basically.
That's all you need, right?
They had a stock.
Just to get them going. Honestly, my favorite fishing I ever did in my entire life was on my Knowles trip and all these high mountain lakes in Washington.
Yeah.
And
They'll eat anything.
they'll eat anything. Anything. And it was just so much fun.
Did
And
you
there were
eat a lot of them?
surprisingly big fish.
Ugh.
Surprisingly big fish.
Where was that, in Washington?
Say in the Cascades.
What are those mountains like?
Yeah, I still think to this day it's the most beautiful place on earth I've ever been.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it on the islands or where's Cascades?
No, North Central.
Was
There's
there
a
steelhead?
population of grizzly bears
there
up in there
steelhead?
now. No, it's mountains.
There's grizzlies?
Yeah.
They came down from what, Vancouver?
Yeah.
Oh, good for
Not
them.
Vancouver, but British Columbia.
Yeah. No, they came from downtown Vancouver. It
Yeah.
got too expensive there. They got.
Yeah. So yeah, there's grizzlies. It's funny, like just in the time since I did that trip, when we were there were no grizzlies, and now there are grizzlies, and they're starting to, like, especially when they get into virgin territory, like they really kick ass, and they're kicking ass.
So you're not a fan of the spread of the grizzly?
No, I'm not.
See, I kind of would like to see them everywhere in their
Yeah.
historic range.
That wouldn't.
Just because you're afraid of them?
Yeah, I enjoy recreating outside, and it diminishes my experience recreating outside.
You don't think you would just like learn to deal with it?
I mean, if I were forced to, yeah, I would be forced to learn to deal with it. I just
Do you
don't
think
like
that's
them.
like a similar argument to someone
And I think
like
they're,
a farmer or something who
they're
wants to like
evil
kill
animals.
Okay. So let's start there.
Yeah.
You think they're evil?
Well, I think they're monsters.
I mean, they're killing machines, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But they're pretty fucking cool.
They just want to kill.
Have you seen Grizzly Man, that movie by Werner Herzog?
Yeah.
They didn't want to kill Tim.
And they did. They didn't want to kill him until they did.
Yeah, he got in a fight with, he just ran into a bad one. But he lived in harmony with them for years.
Was it years or was it months?
No, years. He went every year for like 8 years in it or something like that, and then he got killed after many years.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't doubt that, like, in a situation like that, right, he was also with them in the fall during the salmon run, so food scarcity was basically like a non-issue.
And they think that's how they got him. It's like there was a drought and the salmon couldn't get upriver and the bears were hungry and he ran into this nasty bear, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, they're just...
No, I get it. They're scary. No doubt.
in terms of, like, real life and how you define a monster, like, you can make a pretty compelling case that a grizzly bear is legitimately a monster. Or, like, it's
no.
it's like-
How would you define a monster?
like something big and scary that wants to eat you.
I don't believe in monsters. Like, what do you
Well,
mean?
obviously, I don't believe in, like, mythical monsters, but, like, I think this could be, like, a real life monster.
No,
And,
I
like,
believe
this
anyone
is,
can
like,
be a monster when they're hungry.
It's like the archetype of, like,
Have you ever tried to hang out with someone who's hungry?
it's like the archetype of, like, what, like, why are kids afraid of the dark and monsters in their closet? Because a long
Because
time
of
ago,
grizzly
things
bears?
like grizzly bears existed, and, like, there was a real monster. It was
Well,
called a grizzly bear.
Were you ever afraid of like a mythological creature?
I mean, I was, like, afraid of the dark and shit in my closet and under my bed when I was a kid.
But
But
what
I
were
think
you
everyone
thinking of?
was.
What were you thinking of when you were afraid of those?
Normally, like, the most recent scary movie that I watched.
But there wasn't like one thing that loomed large.
No, it was like, because my parents let me watch R-rated movies when I was like 4 years old, and we always used to watch like the scariest new movies that would come out when I
I
was a
remember
little kid.
we went and saw Signs when we were in like 5th grade, and I was at your house, and that scared the hell out of me.
Yeah,
Then we went down to Bateman's Pond at like dusk, and the woods were so dark, and I was just
yeah.
freaked out.
So like that week it was probably Science, and then
Science.
I watched another scary movie the next weekend, and that's what I was afraid of.
I was terrified
I mean, I was like
of
never
Bigfoot.
like deathly afraid, but I would like jump under my covers, you know.
I was terrified of Bigfoot.
But the reason that you have that built-in like thought pattern that's pre-programmed is because you needed it for grizzly bears. Like grizzly bears are monsters, and I don't like them. Don't.
Like my impulse is to say that like a monster is someone who's been hurt and so is hurting other people and who needs to heal.
I'm not talking about like monster like I'm talking about like monsters, you know? Like a movie monster or like
Yeah. I'm talking about that too. I don't know. I think grizzly bears are killing machines, obviously, but we can successfully learn to live amongst them. And I also think
just,
that like
several
humans,
people are gonna die every year.
humans need to get over the fact that, you know, in some contexts, they're not the most powerful creature on the planet, and I think that's fine.
Yeah, like I hear that, but if you made me king,
You just
And-
want to be the top dog all the time.
I'm just saying, like you're speaking in like very big, using very like big words and like
Top
making this like
dog.
very like a very big discussion. But I'm just talking about grizzly bears right now
Yeah,
in
you
the
just-
lower 48.
You just don't want to like have to think or deal with them when you're recreating.
Yeah,
I mean, I get it. Like, we would not be doing this right now.
no, and like I like doing this.
What would we have to do right now if we were in grizzly bear territory?
I mean, we probably wouldn't be doing this. We'd probably be at the truck.
Really?
Yeah.
No, we could do this. We would just have to hang.
And I like here's the difference is I would do it. I just wouldn't enjoy myself. I would probably still do it.
The first time you'd be scared. The second time you'd be a little less scared.
I
The
probably
third time you wouldn't be scared, and then the fourth time you would get eaten.
Yeah. No, I don't think that I would. I wouldn't have fun. I wouldn't enjoy it. And I like enjoying myself.
Okay, what if
I
we
like
hung the
doing
food
this.
in a tree like 200 yards away and you had a Glock?
Yeah, obviously we would do both of those things, and I still would probably have it on the back of my mind.
I'd like that.
I know.
I think that would be like an important experience
And I should say, I'm going hunting in grizzly bear country next year.
in Wyoming
Yeah,
with a pack.
with a guide.
So you've started hunting for 6 years and you've never used a guide. Did you ever go with other more experienced hunters, or like how did you learn all this stuff?
The time I went for the first time was with a coworker, and
In Texas.
yep, and all we did was drove out on a 4-wheeler to a deer stand. And like when I say a stand, it's like a huge like he had rolly swivel chairs inside of it. Rolly swivel chairs.
Okay, yeah,
And then
like office
exactly
chairs.
100, yeah, office chairs. And exactly 100 yards away was a corn feeder that every hour would go, and it would throw the corn around, and all the deer would come in, and then you shoot one of them.
That sounds awful.
That was my first hunting experience.
Did you shoot one
Yeah.
and you killed it?
Yeah, oh yeah. Stone dead.
Why would they come get the corn if they knew they were gonna get shot?
Maybe this was the day that they didn't get shot. They're just like, it's irresistible.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And yeah, so that's the only real life mentor I've ever had.
Well, you learned a lot from that experience.
Yeah.
And we learned a lot today too. It is cool. It's just like every moment I feel like you learn more. Like literally every second.
Yeah.
You get better at it. So what time are we waking up?
Oh, I didn't even set this.
What time is it?
10:15.
10:15?
Yeah.
It's later than I thought.
Like 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock?
Yeah.
I thought you want to get to Bear Lake by sunup.
Yeah.
You think we can do that if we wake up at 5?
I don't really want to wake up any earlier than that. So fine with this.
I like that answer. I told my mom we were going bear hunting, and she was like, "You should bring bear spray." And I was like, "Mom, we have a gun." And she's like, "Well, you wouldn't want to shoot a bear." It's like, we're going bear. Which, I don't know.
I would not want to shoot my bear out of self-defense.
Yeah, that seems not right. I don't know. I have this really strange mixture of feelings where I like love bears more now, but I also like want to kill a bear more now than I have before.
You're coming around to that. Well, that's like
It's weird. I don't know what to make of that feeling.
I think that means that you're becoming a hunter.
But some kind of new thing arises within me in my relationship with the bear when me wanting to know its habits, its behavior, and its patterns is about wanting to like eat it. Yeah. It's different.
It is different, yeah.
And I don't know what to make of that.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you'll ever there is that contradiction that I think's inherent, and I don't know if you ever get over it really.
Maybe it'll become clear once we eat it.
Yeah.
Wow, eating a bear.
I'm excited about it.
We'll see. Oh, shit.
They say day 3 is the toughest day to get out of bed.
Is that today?
Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely could sleep for like 4 more hours.
Yeah. Can't do that though.
Oh, I had the worst dreams. I had a nightmare that like we were living in a house with someone who was like feeding bears. And they were like getting so aggressive. And then we were like, okay, we gotta take these bears out because they're like fucking crazy. And then the dude who was feeding bears was gonna like kill us if we killed the bears.
Oh my god, man.
Yeah, it was scary. It was like
That was your dream.
It was a full-on nightmare. But it was me and you, and then a lot of other people lived in the house too.
A lot of the topics we've been talking about got incorporated into your dream.
Yeah.
Did you sleep well?
I slept so well. I don't think I woke up once.
Yeah, I slept good too. That's good. So we got a lot of restful recovery sleep. I had a dream that I forget, but as soon as it happened and I woke up, I was like, I'm gonna remember this. I'm gonna tell Chase. It had to do with someone taking advantage of me.
Of me?
Me.
Oh.
And it was like in a business sense. So Chase, have you sat up yet?
I'm scared to move my leg.
You should sit up like me right now.
Okay. Oh my gosh, yeah. Oh.
I really like laying down. You can't lay down anymore. If you wanted to lay down, you could have stayed in Los Angeles. It's going to be an absolutely beautiful morning with the sun coming up over that view that we had last night. It's going to be ridiculous because it's going to be coming up on that side.
We're going to walk to Bear Lake, right?
Yeah.
about the worst possible wind right now. So if there's anything in there right now, it's gonna be, well, it would be. Oh, there should be a fucking bear in there, man. Chase, let's class here for a little bit. Where are you looking? Well, what are you looking for? Like what area is it class? The sun just came up, and so obviously the sun is a huge advantage from the perspective of your ability to see an animal. So I'm gonna try to see if I can get lucky and catch an animal cruising through the sun, getting back to their bed, you know? There's a lot of healthy food in there. But I'm not really like picking apart the sunlight. I'm hoping I get lucky and see something obvious. Yeah, when I get in the shade is when I'll start to just hold my binoculars still and really pick it apart. Every single tree, every single bush in the sunny part. There's a real nice flat spot. Just there's this whole ridge facing us. And on the right side, just on the other side, there's really like a really lush flat spot. It's not that far away. They should still be up here. From what everyone says, is the first snow is what pushes them down. But, I mean, we're not seeing anything, and we did see some stuff lower down.
Spot, Nasher, High Crest Kreuzer, Lightfoot Strong, Dark Coated Sooty Blanche with Snowy Wolf and her nimble brother, huge stalwart Spartan Cyprian Tempest, never tired, Clinch his dark forehead crowned with a white star, black ear off, coated shag, a couple of hounds born Cretan sire, Fury and White Tooth, Barker, Noisy Bitch, and many more, too long to tell you. The pack, hot in pursuit. The pack,
Is this what it like feels like to be a deer?
No, because they have 4 legs.
And I just hop over all this crap.
They looked around to find the man, each louder than they began, and then they blamed his absence and his sloth that missed the excitement of the kill.
I could have chilled in the deer fairyland forever.
Right. What we could do is, if we see something, we can pull over, get that rifle out, and load a cartridge up.
Okay, I like that we have that option.
But we can't like jump shoot it, you know?
Because it is a truism of the outdoors that, or at least critter finding, that when you're not looking for something, you always find it.
Like when I wasn't ready yesterday, man. Just like that. I wasn't ready. I didn't think there was going to be anything just below me. I didn't have any of my shit set up.
I remember we would just go look
Unprepared.
for snakes for like days and days and days, not see any, and then all of a sudden
Yeah.
you just fucking stumble on a snake.
Yeah. Similar deal.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't remember how far back it was on this road, but I do remember us driving past a creek. And they had a little culvert built, and so it went under the road. But I remember like looking at it from far away and being like, "Oh shit, the road's gonna be washed out." But there was a culvert
I don't
under.
really remember that, but let's go for a tour. I kind of want to name this truck Grunter, because it's kind of always...
We'll need to do some map work tonight to figure out how we'd want to attack the Clear Creek area.
It's really hard to make a plan without knowing the latest data. Like, I kind of need to know what's going to happen tonight and tomorrow morning before I even think about what the next move is.
That's why it's good to be flexible.
I love it. It's like, it requires such presence and
Yeah.
like comfortability with like contingency.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to get too fixed in your plans. It's good to have a plan, but just be okay with the fact that conditions might change them.
Feels good to be in a truck after all of that off-trail trekking.
Isn't it amazing?
Like,
We're doing all of this moving.
it's almost ecstatic.
Yeah. And the speed at which we're moving, even though it's like so slow, it's so fast.
I feel like a king. Just being floated around. Okay, wait, here's the first creek.
Yeah, so stop here.
Did you call this a creek? What do you... I'm kind of into this drive, so if we want to just keep going just to see it.
No water that I can see. You could probably get some, but you know what we need to do.
4th of July. It definitely heated up.
Oh, it's hot, man. It is fucking hot.
Oh, that coffee was much needed. Oh, wait. Oh, shoot. I can't believe we haven't seen anyone in days.
I know. I really can't either.
I mean, it's not like it's been an easy hunt, but it's still beautiful country.
Stop.
Oh, yeah, there's water there. There's a good amount.
All right. So this is a good place to turn around too.
All right. Did you ever read that story? I don't know, it was in like some book of fables or like morality tales for children about like the prince, who's a falconer in his falcon, he's been hunting all day, and then he goes to the pool to get water. And every time he gets water, he's like trying to scoop it up. His falcon comes down and like knocks it out of his hand,
No.
and he gets really mad.
No, I've never heard that before.
And then it turns out that like a poisonous snake had died in the little creek like up above him, and the falcon knew and he didn't. So the falcon was like trying to save his life. And I think he got really mad and like had to like kill the bird. Or... Oh shit! This side just fell in. So now we're fine. Okay. Put this in there. Wait, let me actually.
We're gonna do Aquamira anyway.
Yeah, but let me pump a little bit first just to get it going.
Oh yeah, flush it out.
So what's the stuff that you put in the water? It just like kills any bacteria.
Yeah. Giardia or any bacteria or anything like that.
And it's like a little pill.
No, it's a little droplets.
I think this water comes out of the ground, or is it
Yeah. I mean, where else would it come from?
rain or something? I don't know.
Yeah, but when's the last time it rained here?
Saturday.
No, this is spring fed.
Yeah. It's cool. So spring is just places in the landscape where there's water under the soil that's getting squeezed out
Yeah.
because of water pressure or what?
Well, no, there's like underwater, like aquifers, like water layers in the soil and stuff. And
In a
then-
mountain like this?
Yeah.
How does it
And
get
then
there?
wherever that water, when it rains, it filters down through the ground, down to the water-bearing layer, and then wherever that water-bearing layer meets with like a slope coming down, and you've got your water layer, and then the slope, when they hit, and you get a spring.
It hits something else like hard, like rock or something, and then that pushes it out. Or...
Yeah, it'll hit an impermeable layer, and then it has to go sideways.
So is it especially clean because it's been filtered through all the soil?
Exactly, yeah. That's the idea with springs, is that,
That's cool.
yeah, they've been kind of naturally filtered with soil. Yeah, that's why.
Yeah, you can't let that get changed. Definitely gonna wash my face.
In this?
Yeah.
That's a good idea, actually.
You, Mr. Jack Biceps, retired?
Tired, man.
Damn,
I'm trying to get after it, dude.
I see you. These bugs that just sit on the water. Look at how small their space is compared to the surrounding country.
Their whole world exists in this little 2 square foot.
How far do you think that one has been? Like, do you think he's been upstream, downstream, or is this just in this one pool?
No, I think he's. I don't think he started any further downstream.
So you think it's just this little pool that is...
No, but he might have been born further upstream.
Oh. Wait. And got washed down?
Yeah, he could go down, but he can't go up.
What are they? Do you know what they're called? I just know them as like water bugs.
They're like water skaters or something.
Water skaters?
You want me to get your bottle now?
Yeah. If you would. Just the feeling of not having to ration water is luxurious.
It's really nice.
Use this to shower a little bit.
Use this?
Yeah, this.
No, just use your hands.
Yeah, with this.
Why don't you just dip it in like that?
Because I don't want any stuff in my face, my mouth.
Oh my god. Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm dead serious. You just fill it back up. How long did that take?
You're gonna wash your face with filtered water.
Yes. How long did that take?
Nothing. It's just prissy. I wouldn't expect you to.
It's not prissy, it's practical.
Just little prissy boy with your face routine.
I need to make sure that I'm
gonna go up here and look for a poisonous snake.
getting after these deer. I can't do that if I have an infection or something.
Oh. 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 Oh.
It's cold. Oh man, it felt so good.
The simple pleasure.
Tonight somehow felt emotional. Like, it felt like the deer were withholding, or like the earth was withholding. Yeah. Like, it was like, I felt like a little bit like a sad baby or something. Yeah. It was like melancholic or something. I don't know. They're hard, man. But it's a good feeling. I like it. They're hard. It's like a kind of searching or something. Or a yearning. But we're like halfway done, basically. Yeah. I felt good about tonight, though. Like, I felt like we were on it, you know? I did. You know, like we were ready for them. We were ready. Yeah, not on them, like, in terms of them being there, but on them, like, we're on the land. We were definitely ready. Did the moon break? Where is she? What are you looking at? Potential plans for tomorrow. After we hunt here in the morning? So, if tomorrow morning's unsuccessful, I want to move to Clear Creek. If we could, like, even just get, like, 3/4 of a mile up into this kind of, like, broken terrain, kind of, could be productive. Kind of like just the overall shape of this whole thing right here. Is that up or down? And it's not that far. So you're going up. No Man's Creek flows into Clear Creek. So this is high, this is low, and we could kind of hike back into here.
And we could try. We can explore A. If we don't like the bushwhacking, go check out Bear Creek or whatever.
We should be able to, from where we park the truck. I mean, it's gonna be.
Yeah, just look.
You park the truck, and it's gonna be. This is what we're trying to hunt right here.
Yeah, no, I know. And then if we can't ford the river, then go up more.
And then we'll go up more. Yeah.
What?
Thought I heard something.
There's another one of those big toads hopping over there. Oh, This one was not so good, the chili mac.
No, I didn't suspect it would be.
But I ate all of it anyway. Oh, I feel gross. Why did I do that? Can you heat up a little more water? Maybe I'm just hungry for deer.
Yeah.
Oof, that smells good. Wow, I fucked up with my stupid.
You have the worst envy of my food, don't you?
I wouldn't be envious if mine was just a little bit good, but it was so bad.
What was so bad about it?
It just tasted like sloppy Joe from like a third grade lunch, or like, I don't know, lunch, school lunch. And the pasta was like a little bit hard and crunchy. Maybe that's because I didn't let it steep enough. How close do we get to Happy Camp if we go to Clear Creek?
Look at it on the map.
I'd be curious to see what Happy Camp is like. Never been there. So recap.
I was just saying that this particular area that we're in illustrated thermals to me better than any other place I've been before. Specifically this morning, because there was no prevailing wind. So the thermals are always acting, right?
Yeah.
There's always going to be a thermal effect in the mountains where when the sunlight's on a mountain midday, that heats up the air, or like it heats up the ground, which heats up the air above it, and the air is going to rise, and it's going up the slopes of mountains. And the opposite happens when the sun goes down or something's in shade, is the air near the ground cools, and it'll move down the mountain. That effect is always taking place, but sometimes it's difficult to perceive that because there's a prevailing wind direction.
Mm-hmm.
But this morning, there was no
It
prevailing
was
wind.
so still.
Dead still. Yeah, so when we got out there, I kept checking the wind. And for the first hour and a half, when we were in the shade, it was going right down below us, like straight. The thing about thermals is they're so consistent and so predictable. Every single time I checked, straight down. And then as soon as the sun hit us, I noticed it just switched on a dime and was going 180 degrees the opposite direction up the hillside.
Yeah.
And I showed you that.
Yeah.
And it was clear as day, right?
Yeah. And then as it even got a little warmer and the sun moved a little bit down the hill, I was really feeling the wind pick up from below down in the valley, coming up almost like a breeze.
Oh, it'll start to really pick up. Yeah. It can really kick.
But so we were up above. We were sort of doing an ambush style this morning, and we were up above it. So the thermals were kind of working against us.
They were working against us. But yeah, some that like, especially like eastern whitetail hunters, when they come out west and try and do like a western hunt, it's something that can confuse a lot of people and throw a lot of people off.
The thermals.
The thermals, yeah. Like why did that group spook? I don't understand what just happened, you know.
And they'll just spook because they'll just get a whiff of our scent, and then they'll just be out.
Yeah. From hundreds of yards away.
That's incredible.
They'll smell you and they're gone.
So why don't you say you don't use any of these things that mask your scent?
They don't work. We stink right now.
Totally.
there's nothing we could do whatsoever that would do anything to mask our scent to a deer.
But the fawn and the doe that you saw this morning were just around this corner from our camp.
Mm-hmm.
What do you make of that? Because like we've been at this spot for like 3 days now.
Yeah. Well, when you say just around the corner, right, they're probably a quarter mile that way. Also, they're on a different hillside, a different drainage than us.
So the scent's going up and down, not necessarily.
Our scent's probably
laterally.
going over that way or down that way.
Yeah.
It's not going across the hill.
Or around the corner.
Yeah, around the corner. The other thing is they were probably feeding back on the other side because every deer we've seen has come from this way and is headed down. So I'm thinking they were probably feeding on the other side of this mountain right here.
The situation of our camp is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
We really are hidden back here.
Yep.
So we saw 10 deer the first morning, and we saw 2 this morning.
Mm-hmm.
What do you make of that? Do you think we've just blown up the spot too much?
I do.
We've been walking up and down this road multiple times a day. We thrashed down the main drainage here from up on that saddle, 2,000 feet up.
You're starting to layer on abnormalities
Yeah.
for them in their environment, right? A truck alone might not necessarily totally scare them. A light alone might not totally scare them. Maybe they got one sniff, that alone might not totally scare them.
Yeah.
Maybe they heard us, the car door slam, that alone might not scare them. But when you start to layer all of these things on top of each other,
Yeah.
you're starting to make a really significant impact.
We're
in the
throwing
area
around a lot
you.
of signals here.
Yeah.
We're laughing, we're smelling,
Mm-hmm.
we're cooking food, we're kicking rocks.
Yep. And I think the younger, dumber deer might stick around, but any bucks or especially older bucks, they're gone.
Well, this little valley's been good to us.
Mm-hmm.
We've overstayed our welcome.
Yeah. Time to hit it.
A lot cooler today than yesterday. It's warmer today. Yesterday was hot. I don't know. No.